The ruined temples of Orpheus VII loomed against the violet sky, their broken spires reaching up like grasping fingers toward the gas giant that dominated the horizon. Zara Reed adjusted her environmental suit's filters, trying to block out the acrid smell that somehow penetrated even the most advanced atmospheric systems. After 15 years of space archaeology, she'd learned that every dead world had its own unique stench. This one smelled of ancient metals and broken dreams. Her survey drone hovered silently beside her, its scanning beams painting the crumbling architecture in ghostly blue light. The readings were unlike anything she'd seen before, energy signatures that shouldn't exist in ruins this old, patterns that defied known laws of physics. Whatever civilization had built this place, they'd been far beyond humanity's current understanding. Log entry 147, Zara spoke into her suit's recorder. The temple complex shows signs of quantum displacement, similar to theoretical models of space-time manipulation. These people weren't just advanced, they were playing with the fabric of reality itself. A sudden tremor shook the ground, sending cascades of metallic dust from the temple walls. Zara steadied herself against a pillar, her heart racing. This moon wasn't tectonically active, she'd checked the surveys thoroughly before landing. The tremor came again, stronger this time, accompanied by a sound that made her blood run cold, a scream that wasn't quite human, filled with both terror and desperation. The drone's sensors went wild, its displays flooding with data. Something was moving beneath the temple floor, something that shouldn't be there. Zara drew her plasma cutter, meant for excavation but equally effective as a weapon, and followed the drone's guidance toward the source of the disturbance. The temple's lower levels were a maze of corridors lined with strange, shifting symbols that seemed to react to her presence. The screaming grew louder, more urgent, leading her deeper into the complex. Finally, she emerged into a vast chamber that defied explanation, a perfect sphere carved from what appeared to be a single crystal, its surfaces reflecting impossible colors. In the center of the chamber lay a crashed escape pod, its design unlike any human technology. Its hull was covered in intricate patterns that pulsed with fading light, and through a cracked viewport, Zara could see movement inside. "This is Specialist Reed," she broadcast on all frequencies. "I'm here to help. Can you understand me?" The screaming stopped, replaced by a soft whimper. Zara approached carefully, her drone scanning for threats. The pod's hatch was partially open, warped by the impact. Inside, curled in a protective ball, was a female figure that was unmistakably alien. Her skin was iridescent, shifting between deep purple and stellar blue, marked with patterns that seemed to move like constellations. She appeared humanoid but more delicate, almost crystalline in structure. And she was badly injured, traces of luminescent fluid that Zara assumed was blood leaked from multiple wounds. The alien's eyes opened, 3 of them, arranged in a triangle, and fixed on Zara. There was intelligence there, and fear, but also a desperate hope. She reached out with a trembling hand, her fingers ending in points that sparkled like cut diamonds. Before Zara could react, the drone's proximity alerts blared. Multiple ships were entering the moon's atmosphere, heavily armed and definitely not archaeological vessels. The alien's terror intensified, her body beginning to glow with a pale light that made Zara's skin tingle. "Okay," Zara whispered, making her decision. "I'm getting you out of here." She reached for the alien, who didn't resist as Zara lifted her from the pod. The alien was surprisingly light, her body cool to the touch even through Zara's suit. The chamber's crystals began to pulse in rhythm with the alien's glow, and Zara's suit computer displayed warnings about increasing energy levels. Whatever was happening, they needed to leave immediately. She commanded her drone to map the fastest route to her ship, hidden in a canyon 2 kilometers from the temple. As they emerged from the temple, the first hostile ship appeared overhead, a sleek black vessel bearing no identification marks. Its searchlight swept the ruins, and Zara pressed herself against a wall, holding the alien close. The alien's glow dimmed, as if she understood the need for stealth. Zara's mind raced. Her ship was small but fast, equipped with the latest stealth systems thanks to some less-than-legal modifications. If they could reach it, they might have a chance. But first, they had to cross open ground without being spotted by whoever was hunting the alien. The alien touched Zara's helmet, her fingers leaving trails of light across the visor. In that moment, Zara felt a presence brush against her mind, not words exactly, but images and emotions. Danger. Pursuit. A weapon of unimaginable power. A desperate mission to prevent its use. "I'll help you," Zara promised, though she wasn't sure if the alien could understand her words. "But right now, we need to run." The night was about to become very long indeed. The Stellar Wraith, Zara's modified research vessel, cut silently through the darkness of space, its stealth systems straining to maintain their cloak. In the med bay, the alien lay on a diagnostic bed, her crystalline skin shifting through shades of deep blue and violet as the ship's scanners tried to make sense of her physiology. Zara had managed to get them off Orpheus 7, but not before taking damage from the pursuing ships. Her port engine was operating at 60% capacity, and the hull had suffered multiple impacts. They'd escaped into the asteroid belt of the Helio system, using the dense field of space rocks as cover, but she knew it was only a temporary solution. The alien stirred, all three eyes opening slowly. Her glow had dimmed significantly, which Zara hoped wasn't a bad sign. The medical system had managed to seal most of her wounds with a synthetic polymer, though it had warned of unknown cellular structures and quantum-level anomalies in her biology. "You're safe," Zara said, keeping her voice soft. "I'm Zara. Can you understand me?" The alien sat up gracefully, her movements fluid despite her injuries. She placed her crystalline hand against the medbay wall, and suddenly the ship's systems flickered. Displays shifted, showing impossible data streams, and Zara felt that same mental presence she'd experienced in the temple. Images flooded her mind, a vast civilization of beings like the alien, living in cities that merged technology and crystal in breathtaking ways. She saw great ships that sailed between stars on wings of light, and felt the pride of a culture that had achieved harmony with the universe itself. But then came darkness, an enemy that moved like shadows between worlds, stealing secrets, corrupting knowledge. The alien's name was Naira, and she was something far more important than a refugee. She was a guardian, part of an ancient order dedicated to protecting her people's most dangerous discoveries from those who would misuse them. The ships that had attacked them belonged to an organization called the Void Cartel, humans working with rogue elements of various alien species, stealing and weaponizing advanced technology. "They're after something you have," Zara said, understanding dawning. "Something they think they can turn into a weapon." Naira nodded, her patterns shifting to form complex geometric shapes. She touched her chest, where a faint light pulsed in rhythm with her movements. Not just a weapon, the images suggested, but something that could tear reality itself apart. The knowledge was encoded into her very being, part of her genetic structure, waiting to be unlocked. The ship's proximity alerts suddenly blared. 3 vessels had emerged from hyperspace nearby, their energy signatures matching the ships from Orpheus 7. The Void Cartel had found them. "Can you walk?" Zara asked, already moving to the bridge. Naira followed, her movements still graceful but cautious. The bridge lit up as they entered, displays coming to life with tactical data. The pursuing ships were spreading out, trying to box them in against a dense cluster of asteroids. Naira placed her hands on the navigation console, and Zara felt the ship's systems respond in ways they never had before. The alien's crystalline fingers danced across the controls, leaving trails of light that somehow integrated with the ship's computer. Energy readings shifted, efficiency increased by impossible margins. "I'm guessing you know a few tricks about spacecraft?" Zara managed a smile, strapping herself into the pilot's seat. Naira's answering expression wasn't quite a smile, her face wasn't built for human expressions, but Zara felt her appreciation through their growing mental link. The first enemy ship fired, a burst of plasma that would have hit them if the ship hadn't moved with unprecedented grace, sliding between two asteroids with millimeters to spare. Naira's modifications had made the stellar wraith more responsive than Zara had ever seen it, but they were still outnumbered and damaged. A new image appeared in Zara's mind, a hidden sanctuary, a place where Naira's people had once maintained a research station. It wasn't far, a system that humans had dismissed as uninhabitable, its star too unstable for conventional navigation. But Naira knew ways to safely traverse its dangers. "That's our best shot," Zara agreed, plotting a course. "But we'll have to fight our way out of this first." Naira's patterns shifted again, and Zara felt power building in the ship's systems. The alien wasn't just improving their systems, she was teaching the ship new tricks, introducing principles of her people's technology that bent the normal rules of physics. The pursuing ships were in for a surprise. As plasma fire lit up the asteroid field, Zara realized she had stopped thinking of Naira as just an alien refugee. There was a connection growing between them, born of shared danger and mutual trust. Whatever secrets Naira carried, whatever battles lay ahead, they would face them together. The stellar wraith accelerated, leaving trails of crystalline light in its wake as it prepared to show their pursuers exactly what happened when you combined human determination with alien ingenuity. The binary stars of the Meridian system cast strange shadows across the stellar wraith as it drifted through the debris field of what had once been a thriving research station. Zara stood at the viewport, watching crystalline fragments tumble past, each piece holding echoes of the advanced civilization that had created them. Beside her, Naira's patterns pulsed with a sadness that transcended species barriers. They had escaped the Void Cartel through a series of maneuvers that defied conventional physics, Naira's modifications to the ship allowing them to phase partially through solid matter. The pursuit had cost them, though, their remaining engine was barely functional, and life support was operating on backup power. But they had found what Naira was looking for, the ruins of her people's last outpost in this sector of space. "Your people built amazing things," Zara said softly, touching the viewport where a particularly large crystal structure slowly rotated, its facets reflecting starlight in impossible colors. Through their strengthening mental connection, she felt Naira's appreciation of the comment, but also a deeper worry that made the alien skin ripple with darker hues. Naira placed her hand against the ship's hull, and suddenly the view changed. Zara gasped as images flooded her mind, clearer than ever before. She saw the research station as it had been, a magnificent structure of living crystal and light, where Naira's people had studied the fundamental forces of reality itself. They had discovered something extraordinary, a way to manipulate the quantum fabric of spacetime, to rewrite the very laws of physics within limited areas. But they had also discovered something terrible. There were other dimensions pressing against their own, realms of pure chaos that hungered for ordered space. The barrier between realities was growing thin, and the wrong application of their discoveries could tear it completely. The Guardians, like Naira, were created to protect this knowledge, their very bodies encoded with the complex formulas and theories that could either save or destroy existence itself. "The Void Cartel," Zara whispered, understanding dawning. "They don't just want weapons. They want to break down the walls between dimensions." She felt Naira's confirmation, along with images of the catastrophic consequences, entire solar systems collapsing as reality itself unraveled, chaos entities pouring through the gaps to consume ordered space. A new set of images appeared, humans, working in secret laboratories, experimenting with fragments of crystal technology they had stolen. They were close to a breakthrough, but their understanding was fatally flawed. Without the complete knowledge that the Guardians possessed, their experiments would trigger a cascade failure in the dimensional barriers. "How long?" Zara asked, though she already felt the answer forming in her mind. "Weeks, at most." The Void Cartel's scientists had already begun final testing at a hidden facility. They thought they were creating a weapon to give them control over spacetime. Instead, they were about to initiate the end of everything. Naira moved to the ship's main console, her crystalline fingers dancing across the controls. Star charts appeared, overlaid with complex energy patterns that Zara's human eyes could barely comprehend. The alien was tracking quantum disturbances, following the echoes of the cartel's experiments. The facility's location emerged, a rogue planet drifting in the void between systems, perpetually dark and hidden from casual observation. But reaching it would be nearly impossible. The stellar wraith was badly damaged, and the Void Cartel's forces would be watching for them. They needed help, but who could they trust? The human authorities would either dismiss their warnings or try to capture Naira for their own purposes. Most of her people had retreated to distant galaxies, sealing themselves away from the younger races and their dangerous ambitions. Naira's patterns shifted suddenly, forming new configurations that Zara had never seen before. Through their link came images of other guardians, hidden among various species across the galaxy. Some had taken human form, working in secret to guide humanity away from dangerous paths. They could help, if Zara and Naira could reach them. The alien's three eyes fixed on Zara with an intensity that made her breath catch. More than just knowledge was being shared now, Naira was offering her complete trust, revealing secrets that could reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. But with that knowledge came danger. The Void Cartel would stop at nothing to capture them now, and time was running out. A warning light flashed on the console. The ship's sensors had detected energy signatures matching Void Cartel vessels entering the system. They had been tracked, despite their precautions. Naira's patterns pulsed with urgency as she interfaced with the ship's systems, preparing for another desperate flight. Zara moved to the pilot's seat, her hands finding their familiar positions. "We're not finished yet," she said firmly, feeling Naira's approval through their link. "If we can reach your allies, expose what the cartel is doing." She left the thought unfinished as the first enemy ships appeared on their scanners. The next few hours would determine not just their fate, but the fate of reality itself. And somehow, against all logic, Zara found herself smiling. She had wanted to discover the mysteries of ancient civilizations, now she was fighting alongside one of their guardians to save existence itself. The rogue planet hung in space like a black pearl against the void, its surface unmarred by stars or natural light. The stellar wraith approached silently, running on minimal power, its hull still bearing the scars of their latest encounter with the Void Cartel. In the cockpit, Zara checked their failing systems one last time while Naira's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained energy. They had survived 3 more battles to reach this point, each escape narrower than the last. The ship's hull was held together largely by Naira's crystal technology now, beautiful lattices of living mineral that glowed faintly in the darkness. But they had also gained something valuable, data stolen from a cartel vessel, confirming their worst fears about the experiments being conducted on the dark world below. "Security looks exactly as heavy as we expected," Zara muttered, studying the sensor readings. The cartel had transformed the planet's southern hemisphere into a fortress, with defense platforms in high orbit and patrol ships maintaining a constant vigil. Their only advantage was that no one would expect a frontal assault from a single damaged vessel. Naira placed her hand on Zara's shoulder, sharing images through their now strong mental link. The alien's plan was audacious: use the stellar wraith's compromised systems as a Trojan horse, appearing to be a critically damaged cartel vessel limping home. The risk was enormous, but they were out of alternatives. The quantum readings from the planet's surface showed the dimensional barriers were already beginning to fray. "Ready?" Zara asked, though she could feel Naira's determination through their link. The alien's patterns shifted in response, forming complex geometries that interfaced with the ship's systems. Energy signatures changed, transponder codes were rewritten, and the crystalline repairs along the hull dimmed to near invisibility. They began their approach, broadcasting distress signals on cartel frequencies. Zara's heart pounded as the first defense platform tracked them, its weapon systems charging. Everything depended on their deception holding for the next few minutes. Through their link, she felt Naira's presence steady her nerves, sharing memories of her guardian training, centuries of discipline focused into perfect calm. The defense platforms stood down. A gruff voice came over the comm, demanding identification. Zara transmitted the codes they'd stolen, along with sensor data showing critical system failures. Long seconds passed as they drifted closer to the planet's surface, every moment expecting to be discovered. Finally, clearance came. They were assigned a landing vector to one of the smaller facilities, emergency repairs for damaged vessels. It was exactly what they'd hoped for, away from the main research complex but still inside the security perimeter. Zara guided the ship down through the atmosphere, fighting to keep their descent looking appropriately damaged without actually losing control. They landed hard on a maintenance pad, steam venting from supposedly damaged systems. Through the viewport, they could see cartel personnel approaching in environmental suits. The planet's surface was too cold to support unprotected human life. Naira's patterns shifted to almost total darkness, making her nearly invisible in the ship's dimmed interior. "Last chance to back out," Zara whispered, though she knew neither of them would take it. Naira's response came as a wave of affection and resolve through their link. Whatever happened next, they would face it together. The maintenance crew reached the ship's main airlock. Zara triggered the emergency override, venting atmosphere explosively and sending the unprepared workers tumbling back. In the confusion, she and Naira moved. The alien's crystalline form flowed through the ship's systems like living light, emerging from panels and conduits to disable security measures before they could trigger. They reached the facility's main corridor before the first alarms sounded. Naira's intelligence had been correct. The research complex was less than a kilometer away, connected by underground tunnels. But now the entire base would be mobilizing against them. Through their link, Zara felt Naira's growing concern. The dimensional distortions were stronger here, making it difficult for the alien to maintain her crystalline form. Security forces converged from both directions, armed with weapons designed to disrupt energy patterns, specifically created to combat Naira's kind. Zara drew her modified plasma cutter, its barrel glowing with crystal enhancements. "Together," she said firmly, feeling Naira's appreciation of the word's deeper meaning. The battle that followed was like nothing in human experience. Naira's powers, combined with Zara's quick thinking and modified weapons, turned the corridor into chaos. The alien flowed like liquid starlight, disrupting systems and disorienting their attackers. Zara's shots, guided by Naira's enhanced perceptions, found weak points in armor and defensive fields. But more forces were coming, and the dimensional distortions were growing stronger. As they fought their way deeper into the facility, reality itself began to warp. Shadows moved wrongly, light bent in impossible ways, and through their link, Zara felt Naira's increasing pain. The alien's crystalline form was fighting to maintain coherence as the barrier between dimensions weakened. They reached a massive security door, beyond which their sensors detected the main research chamber. Naira interfaced with the control systems, but the encryption was unlike anything they'd encountered. More security forces were approaching, and Zara could hear the heavy tread of combat mechs among them. "Whatever you're going to do," Zara called, taking cover as energy bolts filled the corridor, "do it fast." Through their link, she felt Naira's desperate solution forming. The alien could break through the door's security, but it would require channeling so much energy that it might destabilize her form completely. Time ran out. The combat mechs rounded the corner, their weapon systems charging. Naira's patterns flared with blinding light as she made her choice, and Zara felt their connection surge with power and something deeper, a trust and devotion that transcended species. The security door began to crack, reality itself warping around its edges, as their final confrontation with the Void Cartel approached. The research chamber was a cathedral to human hubris, its vast dome filled with machinery that pulsed with stolen crystal technology. Reality rippled around the central device, a massive crystalline structure that hummed with dangerous power. Zara and Naira burst through the failing security door, the alien's form flickering between solid and pure energy as the dimensional distortions tore at her essence. Scientists scattered as alarms blared, but one figure remained at the central control station, a tall woman with cybernetic augmentations glowing along her spine. Director Raven of the Void Cartel, the architect of humanity's gravest mistake. Her augmented eyes fixed on Naira with predatory interest. "A guardian, here in my facility," Raven's voice carried artificial harmonics. "You've saved us years of research. Surrender now, and we'll make your dissection relatively painless." Naira's response came as a wave of pure defiance, her crystalline form blazing with inner light. Through their mental link, Zara felt the alien's determination mixed with desperate concern. The device was already active, the dimensional barriers stretching to their breaking point. They had minutes at most before reality itself began to tear. "You don't understand what you're doing," Zara called out, her modified plasma cutter trained on Raven. "The barriers between dimensions aren't meant to be breached. You'll destroy everything. We're advancing humanity beyond its limitations." Raven's augmented hands danced across control surfaces. "Breaking down the walls between realities will give us access to infinite energy, infinite resources. If a few worlds are lost in the process, that's an acceptable cost." The chamber shuddered as combat mechs burst in behind them, weapons charged. Naira's patterns shifted in warning, her scans showed critical instability in the dimensional barriers. Through their link, she shared the only solution: she would have to interface directly with the crystal matrix, using her guardian protocols to shut it down. But doing so would expose her to the full force of the dimensional chaos. "There has to be another way," Zara's voice cracked, feeling Naira's acceptance of what must be done. The alien's touch on her mind was gentle now, filled with gratitude for their shared journey in something deeper, a love that transcended physical forms. Raven's augmented senses must have detected something. "Stop them," she commanded. The mechs opened fire as Naira launched herself toward the crystal matrix, her form becoming pure light. Zara provided covering fire, her enhanced weapon cutting through mechanical limbs and armor plating. The alien merged with the matrix, her consciousness spreading through the crystal lattice. The chamber filled with impossible colors as she fought against the machinery's programming. Through their link, Zara felt Naira's pain as reality itself tried to tear her apart. Without thinking, she ran to the matrix, placing her hand against its surface, offering her own strength through their connection. "Fascinating," Raven's voice held genuine wonder. "The bond between you, we never imagined cross-species neural linking was possible at this level. Humanity could learn so much from Dash." Her words cut off as Zara fired without looking, the plasma burst shorting out Raven's cybernetics. The director crumpled as her augmentations failed, but the real battle was happening on a quantum level. Naira's consciousness grappled with the chaotic energies, using Zara's humanity as an anchor to this reality. The matrix began to crack, dimensional energies spraying like liquid starlight. The mech's targeting systems failed as space itself warped around them. Through their link, Zara felt Naira enact the final Guardian protocol, a reset sequence encoded in her very being, designed to restore dimensional stability. Light exploded from the matrix, blinding even the mech's sensors. Zara felt Naira's consciousness begin to fragment under the strain, and she pushed all of her human strength, all of her love and determination, through their bond. She wouldn't let go, wouldn't let the alien face this alone. Reality twisted, folded, and then snapped back into proper alignment. The matrix exploded into crystalline shards, its power finally contained. As Zara's vision cleared, she saw Naira's physical form lying amid the debris, her patterns barely pulsing. "No," Zara pulled the alien into her arms, feeling their mental link flickering like a dying star. But there was still something there, a spark of the incredible being she had come to love. Naira's three eyes opened slowly, her patterns stabilizing into new configurations. She was changed, part of her energy form merged permanently with crystal technology, but she was alive. Through their weakened but healing link, Naira shared a new vision, her people returning from their exile, drawn by the evidence that humanity could rise above its destructive impulses. One human had proven willing to risk everything to protect not just her own species, but all of reality itself. It was a start, a foundation for a new relationship between their peoples. As security forces loyal to Earth's government finally arrived, responding to the dimensional disturbances, Zara held Naira close. The aliens' patterns shifted into something like a smile, and through their bond came a certainty: whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their love a bridge between stars and species. The rogue planet's eternal night began to lift as ships appeared in orbit, crystalline vessels of impossible beauty, responding to Naira's call. The Guardians were returning, and with them came a chance for humanity to learn, to grow, to become something greater than the sum of its fears and ambitions. Together, Zara whispered, feeling Naira's joy at the word. As the first light of a new era dawned, they held each other, no longer alien and human, but simply two beings who had found each other across the vast distances of space and possibility.